How y'all doing today? My name is Ryan, and this is Down to Business Reviews. Sorry about the hiatus last week. I just needed a break, and the producers was the week that I just didn't feel like making a review. But now I'm back, and we're going strong, and here we go. This week for Movie Club, we watched Dredd, directed by Pete Travis and starring Karl Urban, Olivia Thirlby, and Lena Heady. Dredd is adapted from the long-running British comic strip Judge Dredd, which takes place in a dystopian, apocalyptic future. The world is overrun with war and crime, and the only peacekeepers are law officers called the Judges, which hold the power of judge, jury, and executioner. The last I'd heard of Judge Dredd was the 1995 stinker starring Sylvester Stallone, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect with a reboot. I've never seen that 1995 version, and from what I gather, that's probably a good thing, because it sounds like they just crapped all over the mythos of the comic strip. This adaptation of Judge Dredd seems a bit grittier, a bit darker. It feels a little bit more like District 9 with a little bit of Blade Runner and maybe even a smidgen of The Fifth Element. The 95 version of this film was criticized for being too far-reaching in its plot. Like just too much, too fast. However, in this version, I loved the story. I loved how simple it was. Dredd, in this film played by Karl Urban, is tasked with field testing a psychic female woman named Anderson to see if she's cut out to be a judge. His field assessment of her begins as like a homicide call that escalates very quickly into like this drug ring with like a drug lord, and they get locked in this giant skyscraper and they have to fight their way to the top. It's totally Die Hard. I love it. I love how simple of an action theme that is. Just you're stuck in one place and you gotta get from A to B. And it worked so well in this movie. I loved it. It wasn't overly complicated. This movie was just over 90 minutes. I mean, they weren't trying to give you the war and peace of action films. And like Die Hard and Blade Runner, it's super violent without being disgusting. It retains that entertaining quality to it. It's not so overly gruesome that you don't feel like you're having a good time anymore and you're more like suffering through it. I've decided to adopt the likes and gripes method of summing up a film, much like the SourceFed Movie Club does. So, here's my likes and gripes with Dredd. First of all, the gun that Dredd has is freaking awesome. Apparently it's called the Lawgiver in the comic book. It's like a Swiss Army gun. Olivia Thirlby as Anderson. Hey girl. Karl Urban has the scowl of Dredd down to a freaking science, man. Well, I guess it's more like, you're Judge Dead, man. The thing that I like most about this movie is that Karl Urban had the guts to be a truly, faceless hero. He's wearing a mask or his face is obscured the entire film. He's emotionless and exacting and super duper badass. So thanks to you, Karl Urban, for putting the integrity of the character before your recognizability as an actor. That is a true mark of a great actor, putting the story first. That is awesome. My gripes with this film are as follows. There are a couple overblown slow motion sequences that obviously were made for a film that was presented in 3D, but it just didn't translate over to 2D very well. In fact, the drug that induces these slow motion sequences is called slow-mo. Okay, we get it, it's 3D. Sparkles. Some of the scenes in the film looked great in HD, but then all of a sudden it would switch, and it looked like it was filmed on a freaking cell phone. I love a good R-rated sci-fi film. And, I saw Elysium a few weeks ago, and that was pretty good. And I'm happy to add this to my list of admirable sci-fi movies that are worth watching. Dredd gets a B+, having successfully redeemed itself from the notoriously bad 1995 debacle. That's all for this week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked anything I was rambling on about, please leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe if you really liked it. I also just started a Facebook page, so if you look for Down to Business Reviews on Facebook, I'd really appreciate it if you liked my page. If you didn't know, I do these reviews for SourceFed Nerds Movie Club. If you'd like to join us, I highly recommend doing so. It is a lot of fun. That said, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.